Hello, my name is Tim Ash. I am a BSN student at St. Petersburg College, and this is my community analysis presentation for Winter Haven, Florida. The Winter Haven area was originally inhabited by local native Seminole Indians and was settled by English immigrants in the 1860s. They formed the Florida Land and Colonization Company, but the area was not incorporated until 1911. Historically, the area is known as being the area where Publix grocery markets were originated back in 1930. And historically, the Winter Haven area was best known for its cattle and citrus production. Currently, it is best known for phosphate mining, tourism, snowbirds, and a large number of permanent resident retirees, which seem to be increasing by the year. On the surface, it appears that Winter Haven's structure is set up to support a healthy lifestyle for its current residents. Um, there are ample recreational facilities and activities as outlined in the 2017 Florida Department of Health Community Survey, um, but it does identify some pretty glaring weaknesses that can be pretty easily overlooked. Um, Compared to the rest of the counties in the state, Polk County ranked poorly in a couple of key areas. For every 100,000 residents, Polk County had less than one half of the total number of physicians and about one third of the primary care or family practice physicians that are typically found in other counties throughout the state. Uh, Polk County and by proxy Winter Haven also ranked poorly for access to health care, specifically the total number of hospital beds and specialty beds that are available. But the county did rank high for the number of nursing home beds. I suspect this is in direct correlation to the large number of snowbirds that come down to the area every year and the growing number of permanent resident retirees, not only in Winter Haven, but throughout the county. I find it ironic that the state ranked Polk County very low for access to healthy foods. I think it's ironic because for the better part of a century, Polk County was well known for cattle production and was probably the leader in the U.S. for citrus production. Um, so to think that today's residents have a difficult time finding or accessing healthy foods is a little surprising and disappointing. In 2018, Baycare Health, which owns Winter Haven Hospital, conducted a community health assessment, and their findings mimic what the state found the year before and actually go into a little more detail. Baycare found that Polk County actually has the highest poverty level in the state of Florida. Uh, Within Winter Haven, almost 17% of the residents surveyed admitted to being homeless within the last 2 years. 16% of people aged 25 or older did not complete high school, and they identified social challenges for adequate health uh, in several areas. But the three that really stood out to me was a full 18% of residents within Winter Haven do not speak English. 51% of the people surveyed within Winter Haven felt that they were what they term food insecure, meaning that they don't have more than 2 days of food in their homes. Uh, and maybe most shockingly, almost a full 21% of people within Winter Haven have absolutely no insurance at all. I think all three or all of these situations outline some significant problems for the community and present some real challenges to the residents as far as maintaining or improving their own health. The availability and adequacy of the healthcare resources in Winter Haven are pretty poor, as outlined in the previous slide. There's not a lot of healthcare resources. There's very few physicians, comparatively speaking, to the other counties in Florida. And the residents themselves, who unfortunately have a large rate of low education and poverty and homelessness, identify as really not having access to a supply of healthy, nutritious food. Um, so, when considering my community objectives from the Healthy People 2020, um, the three I identified were to improve access to healthcare, promote health and encourage consumption of nutritious foods, and to improve health, fitness, and overall quality of life through daily physical activity. For those residents who do speak English, I feel the local environment does present some unique challenges, but I do feel it is adequate to maintain a healthy lifestyle. Yes, there are very few primary care physicians, but there are several urgent care clinics who do accept patients without insurance. At that point, it does become a cash business, um, but there are payment options available. There are a lot of parks, not only around the lakes within the community, but there are a lot of parks and a lot of recreation centers that provide a lot of activities that are free of charge. Something as simple as going to a park and walking, and there are many of them within Winter Haven, is free of charge. Walking can be a good introductory exercise for those people who have led a sedentary lifestyle for years. It is an easy activity for seniors and retirees to maintain their health. But I feel one of the biggest challenges is access to food, healthy food within the community. I feel the people that need it most, the poor, the indigent, the homeless, are the ones who will have the hardest time accessing it. Uh, Unfortunately, the area is overrun with fast food, but there are very few uh, grocers in the area. So typically, if somebody wants to buy their weekly groceries, healthy groceries, they typically have to go towards the edge of town or even outside of town if they're looking for something specific. Otherwise, it's no wonder that so many people within Winter Haven are overweight or even obese. It's because they are more than likely living off of fast food. It's easily acceptable, and unfortunately, when compared to fruits and vegetables and lean meats, it's actually cheaper to eat fast food than it is to go get a week's worth of groceries to make yourself nutritious meals. I feel the local government shares a large burden for the shortcomings of the local population's health. Um, there are, if you look at the budget, there are a lot of funds available to invest in the community and provide them with additional and better health resources. But a lot of money from the budget, as identified in the previous community assessment, a lot of the budgetary expenditures go towards developing businesses, water management, and real estate development in and around the downtown area. Uh, Water management, obviously, we all need, but I feel part of that money that is spent on uh, businesses and real estate could be diverted to provide better and more healthcare resources to the population. Um, there was less than $240,000 out of a tens of millions of dollar budget for the city of Winter Haven that was actually spent on healthcare initiatives. The only money that the city commissioners put in to healthcare initiatives to help the people that need it the most were funds that they got from the state and from federal grants. None of the local revenue streams were used to support any type of healthcare or outreach programs for the people who need it most, which is pretty unfortunate. As outlined in both the Baycare Community Health Assessment and the State of Florida's Community Health Assessment for Winter Haven and Polk County, respectively, um, there are several needs, desperate needs, really, for the Winter Haven community. But the most pressing, I feel, are these top six. One, better access to health care, better education about diabetes management and diabetic supplies. Uh, Baycare identified diabetes as the number one chronic health care problem, not only within Winter Haven, but within Polk County proper. Um, Local population needs better education. They need additional tools to prevent and cope with substance abuse, which is also another serious problem that was revealed in both community assessments. There is a severe lack of mental health resources, and for some reason, an abnormally large need for mental health counseling um, when compared to other counties in the state. Both reports revealed that more financial investment from local government could increase healthcare education and access for Winter Haven citizens. And lastly, the last need is more outreach for for the minority community. There is a lot of minorities who do not speak English, so in addition to all the other challenges that are community wide, they face an even larger challenge by not being able to speak the local language in order to seek out any help that they may need. So if the local government, the city commissioners, would divert some of their budgetary funds from real estate and business development and focus more on outreach, more on healthcare access and resources, I feel a lot of the problems facing the Winter Haven community could be rectified. Granted, it would take time, but they could be rectified fairly easily.